Today I'm going to be reviewing a small air purifier, the Winix A231 as it's known in the USA, or the Zero Compact as it's called in Europe. With a size similar to that of the Levoit Core 300, the A231 is aimed at those with small spaces up to 230 square feet. Now, at the time of shooting this video, the Winix A231 is priced at $75 to $77 on Amazon, depending on which color you choose. But is it possible for a $75 air purifier to be good at cleaning the air? This is what we want to find out today. Right, before we start, a few housekeeping notes. We bought our A231 back in 2023 and paid $154.98. And that's for delivery, customs, to get it sent over to us in the UK. To learn more about how we test, you can watch the video here where I go into a lot more detail about the whole process, so check it out there. As always, if you don't want to watch my full review, here are the 5 things I love and the 2 things I don't about the Winix A231. Firstly, what I like: it has great price to air cleaning performance ratio. It has a auto mode, which is rare on budget units. The OEM filters are fairly priced and there are generic options available too. The design means you can move the body and it won't remove the filter. It's also the fastest small air purifier to clean our test room when using its plasma wave. And what I don't like? Well, the first one is it is louder than other small air purifiers I've tested. The VOC sensor does take a lot longer to kick into auto mode compared to the particle sensors used in other models. And it is more power hungry than other smaller devices, which does lead to higher long-term costs. Right, let's jump into the full review. Considering its affordable price of $75, the A231 has a high dust KDAR of 154 CFM, which equates to 1 dust KDAR CFM costing just 50 cents. The 6-year-old Levoit Core 300 with a dust KDAR of 141 CFM offers 1 KDAR CFM for 70 cents. The Philips 800 series will give you 1 KDAR CFM per 80 cents. Or if we look at the newer 300S, it'll give you 1 KDAR CFM for just 96 cents. So, on paper at least, the Winix A231 seems to offer a solid value proposition for those looking at a small air purifier at a small price. You get 2 different color schemes with the Winix model. The A231 is the white and gray model that we are reviewing right now. The A230 is a snazzy all black model with the exact same features. I have to say, I appreciate that more manufacturers are offering options when it comes to the color of the devices. Sure, I know color won't affect performance, but having the option to pick a color that will better blend in with your decor is only a good thing. In terms of size and weight, the Winix A231 is similar to the Levoit Core 300. It's small and easy to move around. But similar isn't the same. The A230 comes with a flared design that makes it a little shorter than the Core 300. However, both units have a similar floor footprint. All in all, the A231 is a small device that takes up very little space and could easily be placed in a small room, on top of a side table, or even on the desk. The control panel is at the top of the A231 and consists of a touch screen sitting right in the middle of the air quality indicator ring. The ring is a circular light that changes color depending on the current air quality in your room. Red poor, amber fair, and blue is good. One issue I found with the control panel of the Winix A231 is that the arrow buttons don't light up, so it can be tricky to see them at night or when using the device in a darker space. Something unexpected with the A231 is that it comes with an onboard air quality sensor that allows for auto mode, which is really not common in air purifiers costing $75. Now, the air quality sensor sits at the back of the A231, so in order to get the best readings, you will need to make sure to keep it clean and placed in a position where it's not blocked by anything. And even though you do get an auto mode, the A231 doesn't come with a smartphone app or smart speaker connectivity, so you won't be able to operate this air purifier remotely. Overall, when it comes to design, the A231 is a good-looking air purifier that stands out from the standard white cylindrical designs of other manufacturers. Let's talk about the air filters. So Winix decided to go with HEPA H13 filters for the Winix A231 or Zero Compact. The filter also comes with activated carbon, but it's the same impregnated fabric that we saw when we tested the 5302, rather than the pelleted carbon you get with the Winix 5502. As this is a small air purifier, the amount of carbon will still be tiny, so it's unlikely to make much of a difference in daily usage against gases and odours, but it is something I know some of you will want to know. The cylindrical filter is surrounded by a black fine mesh pre-filter, which you will need to vacuum every few weeks, as it will trap larger particles like pet hair. Like the Levoit Core 300, you can access this filter by twisting the cover at the bottom of the device in the direction of the arrows. One benefit of the A231 over the Levoit Core 300 is that it's actually much harder to accidentally open the base when the device is standing on the floor. This is an issue that my wife uncovered in some units that have the same method for accessing the filter. Sometimes when cleaning floors, she will slide air purifiers like the Core 300 around, and the lock at the bottom will open up. So whenever she picks up the device to put it back in, the filter ends up falling out. Luckily, the Winix A231 doesn't have this issue, as the base stays on unless you intentionally twist it with your hands. As part of this review, I retested the Winix A231 using generic filters from Purifier. So if you have this air purifier, be sure to stick around to see the results of this test. Right, let's jump into the House Fresh performance test. The sensors show that the A231 needed 40 minutes to achieve PM10 when running at top speed with plasma wave enabled. For the price, the Winix A231 stands out with its effective performance for the low price. The Lego, a device based on the Titronix AP003, offers more value, but is also much bigger and $50 more expensive. It's also worth noting that the A231 was using its plasma wave ionizer function, so we made sure to retest it with this disabled. Disabling plasma wave added 6 minutes to the test, with the Winix A231 achieving PM10 in 46 minutes. Next, we'll look at sound. If an air purifier is too loud, you're likely to turn it off, which is why it's important to measure the sound generated at 3 feet away at different fan speeds. Here are the results for the Winix A231. Be aware that background noise in our home is roughly 35 decibels, so the A231's sleep mode is likely to generate less sound if you could measure it in a silent room. As you can see from the table, at its highest speed, the Winix A231 does run louder than many other smaller air purifiers, such as the Philips 800 and the Levoit Core 300S, although it's not as loud as the Zero Compact. As part of our test, we also record how much electricity is pulled by the A231 at each fan speed. So I did the math. If you were to run the Winix A231 at top speed all day, every day of the year, this would add $47.93 to your energy bill. Compared to other smaller air purifiers, the Winix A231 will add more to your energy bill, especially compared to the PC fan-powered devices like the Clean Air Kit's Triple Acceleron or the NuKit Tempest Euro. That said, the A231 is still much cheaper in terms of electricity costs than what we saw with the Zero Compact. But it's not just energy consumption that adds to the running costs of an air purifier. You will also need to replace the filters for the A231 for the device to be effective in the long run. According to Winix, you will need to replace the filters every 12 months, and the OEM filters are available for $33.68. Even with the longer filter life, which may not match up to real-world usage, the Winix A231 is more expensive to run than other smaller air purifiers that we've tested in 2024. While the OEM filters for the Winix A231 are a fair price, we also bought generic Purifier filters to see if performance would match what we see from the genuine filters. Here are the results for the Purifier filter. It was able to achieve PM10 in 42 minutes. Considering that they're over half the price and have very close performance, I see no reason why you shouldn't go for the generic filters in this case. If you do decide to go with Purifier filters, then the cost comes down to $15 per year. So is the Winix A231 or Winix Zero Compact worth it? The A231 is the most powerful small air purifier we've tested, but it does have its downsides. It's louder at its top fan speed and is also more energy hungry, which means it has higher long-term running costs than other small air purifiers. The initial price of $75 is still impressive, and I'm glad there are options for a high-performing air purifier at this low price. Most cheap air purifiers are just so weak they offer very little value, but in our particle removal test, the A231 outperformed other small air purifiers like the Levoit Core 300S, the Philips 800 series, and even the Clean Air Kit's Triple Acceleron. If money is not an issue and you want to go down the DIY route, then the NuKit Tempest Euro or the Air Fanta 3 Pro will offer much more powerful air cleaning performance in a relatively small package. If size is not a concern, I recommend that most people go for larger devices that will have similar running costs in the long term and will be able to circulate and clean a lot more air way faster than the A231 ever can. If this sounds like a better choice for you, then watch my review of the Winix 5500 and also check out the Levoit Vital 200S. But for those on a limited budget who want as much air cleaning power as money can buy with a small HEPA retail air purifier, then the Winix A231 is the best choice. As always, please let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the Winix A231, and I will look forward to seeing you all in the next video.